Hey guys, I just want to let you know, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain, okay? So it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or a computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. That's right. And it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Nothing beats that. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
What is up, everyone? How are you? All right, so let me just start off by just welcoming you back into listening. If you are new here and you haven't listened to any of my previous recordings, go all the way back. You will start to actually understand this one a little bit more. But if you have followed my journey here and through my social medias, you now understand what I mean, that action follows, or favor follows actions, right? And I am a true believer of that, meaning that even myself, there's been ups, downs, sideways within the last 2 years since 2020. And this is something that I had decided to start back then. And within the experience of everything that was going on around me and just trying to manage it all, I kind of had lost the fire and the sense of coming on here and sharing not just some quote unquote facts, truth, but really my thoughts and my opinions, how I'm viewing the world, my perspective, what God has been speaking to me, what I've been able to give in through and other platforms. So here we are. Welcome back. So happy to have you, whether you're listening to this now, whether you're listening to this 10 years from now. I told myself I was going to do this. So here we are, right? So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how, and something that I read, right? It was talking about how water reflects the face. It's as one's life reflects the heart. And that just kind of got me thinking, like, what you are telling yourself and what you are doing is literally a reflection of how your life is looking right now. Whether you feel that your life is going great and you're living your best life, or whether you feel like your life could be better, right? Your life is a representation of you, of your thoughts, of your actions, of the limited beliefs that you're allowing to live in your head rent-free. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. What are you believing for in this new year? What are you allowing yourself to think? Because whatever you allow yourself to think is what you're going to turn into actions. And what those actions are going to do is determine what you say it, how you walk, how you talk, what you believe in, who you're believing. Are you feeding into the negativity that's happening on every social media platform? Or are you allowing yourself to have some discernment to say, you know what, I don't have to believe everything that's on Google. I don't have to believe everything that's going on around me. Imagine if you finally allowed yourself to understand, like, I understand that all of this is happening around me, but how are you letting that affect you inside of you? As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. So what are you believing for your life? Let's just say you had some goals already this year and you're like, I'm going to try to do my goals. Imagine if you told yourself, you know what, I'm no longer going to tell myself, try. I'm just going to do. So I was talking on another platform and I had this conversation, and let's just take it to fitness. Let's say you want to lose 20 pounds. You're like, I'm going to try and lose 20 pounds in these first 90 days of the year. But you're not even allowing yourself to take a walk for 30 minutes or use your lunch break as productivity. Go for a walk, right? You're just strolling on social media, and not even just strolling to find something positive, but just putting yourself into a deeper hole of which you're already limited in believing, right? Look, I can never have those body goals. I can never feel good about myself. I can never live my best life. I can never, do what I want. And you see all these people doing it, and then you're wondering why. It's because you're letting everything happen for you or to you instead of for you. And you're looking at your life from a limited perspective because your limited beliefs have led you, and you've been feeding into this your whole life. I talked about this also on another platform, how I'm not from this country. So when we moved here, when we were accepted to come here, literally, we were accepted to enter the United States, I was fed this limited belief of, okay, we're going to go there. You're going to work hard. That's not a limited belief. Anything in life requires work, energy, and effort. But the belief of that I only could go and, get a job, get an education, get the furthest education I possibly can. And from there, have a good job, work at it till I'm 65. Who wants to live their best life at 65? Not me. And get this white picket fence. I don't know if anybody else out there was taught or fed the lie of the white picket fence, but I don't know if my parents saw that in a Hollywood movie or what it was. But I was just always like, get the white picket fence, and that's it. And that's your life. That's your life. That's your life. Or the belief that I have, and a lot of women on my team, where they're like, well, when you have kids, that's all you can do. You can only raise your kids. You cannot work. You can only tend to your husband. This is your role in life. Who said that? Who said that? Right? So somebody said it, but guess what? You had to take the action to believe it. And if you would have rejected that idea, if you would have said, you know what? No, I'm going to have kids, but I'm also going to financially provide for my family. I'm going to have kids, but I'm also going to pour into my cup every day. I'm going to have kids, but I'm also going to be an independent boss woman. I'm going to have kids, but I'm also going to continue to be a great wife and go on date nights with my husband. I'm going to have kids, but I'm also going to not lose myself in the process. You have to go from this try mentality to I'm going to mentality, because then you take your life from impossible to I am possible, right? So what are you believing for your life for this year? Maybe you have long-term goals, but those long-term goals are not going to be achieved if you are not taking small actions every single day to lead you, because your life, again, is a reflection of what you believe about yourself. So if you started rejecting the lies you've been fed your whole life. For example, you've been told that you're shy. And because you told that you're shy, you believe this lie that shy is bad, right? Because you feel like you're an introvert, that's bad. That's not going to be good out here in this extrovert world where the people that have success are only extroverts. No, that's a lie you chose to believe and accept. When in reality, maybe you're just protective of your energy, of who you're around, of the people you listen to, and you can easily read through people's bullshit. Maybe if you stopped using it as a bad thing and started saying, you know what, there's some perspective here. Maybe I'm not an extrovert. Maybe I'm not loud. Maybe I'm not this. But that also doesn't mean that I am a bad person or that the qualities that I have to offer this world aren't great. Now, being afraid to take a step isn't because you're shy. It's because you have no vision or clarity for what you want next in your life. If you actually took the time to write the things out that you desire from your life, imagine you being able to have the vision of where you live, of how you raise your kids, of what your marriage would look like, of what men or women you wanted to become, of the people that you wanted to surround yourself with. And now you no longer feel like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid to take these steps because I'm shy. You just tell yourself, I've been afraid to take these steps just because I had no clarity, and you do it scared and you do it afraid. It doesn't mean that your core setting of personality of you being quote unquote shy, or let's just say, protective of your energy is going to go away. It just means that you're doing it in spite of. It means that something in you got lit up, something in you sparked and said, you know what? I'm no longer going to settle for my life. I'm going to go ahead and design my life. And you start letting your soul be touched and set on fire. And this person you thought that was shy bursts out of their freaking bubble, because I've seen it plenty of times in my business. And the real you comes out. You guys know that when you're born, you don't come out not saying anything, right? Doctors and nurses are so scared, right? I used to be a nurse before the type of business I do now, and they actually are scared if you don't cry when you're born, because they know that when you come into life, you're meant to make sound. So that's when they start testing. They don't get worried. It's like if you're a mom, when your kids are in the background arguing and then you just hear it go silent for 5 minutes, you're like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Something's not right. I don't hear any sound. The same thing. It doesn't mean that just because you feel like you're an introvert that you have to be loud or obnoxious to have success. At least in my type of business, I know many people in my business that felt that about themselves because either they were desperate enough or inspired enough to say there's more out there for me. They stopped accepting the truth as, okay, just because I'm shy or I'm an introvert, I can't have success, and started accepting the truth of, in spite of all that, I'm willing to work for my success. So what have you been accepting as your truth without really seeking it out for yourself? Because if you're just constantly looking at the newspapers, if for those that know what a newspaper actually is, right? Or you're constantly feeding into the negativity, you're telling yourself, you know what?
I'm going to have a better 2022. My mindset's going to be so strong. But the first thing you go to in the morning is the news, or you go to tragedy, or you're literally accepting these things. You're no longer choosing to reject the lies because you're letting those things in your life. It doesn't mean that you don't have to educate yourself. It doesn't mean that you don't have to understand what's going on around you. It just means that you're allowing yourself to make sure that your cup is full, so you're able to go then make sure that nothing penetrates to the goal, through the goals that you're trying to achieve. So ask yourself right now, how do I get up in the mornings? What do I tell myself? How do I act? What do you immediately start telling yourself, or start telling what your mind is telling you? How do you start your day? What do you do? What you do and what you don't do says a lot about what you believe about yourself. I got to a point in my life where I told myself, man, I'm so overweight. Well, okay, that's not going to do anything if you're just talking about it. What was I willing to do? I was willing to go outside for a walk. I was willing to then start running without understanding, that I didn't have to know all the mechanisms of losing weight. I just knew that, God provided me with 2 feet. So I was going to go run, and I was going to go walk, and I started feeling better, and I started getting energy, and I started feeling good. And then I turned that into having the courage to muster up and say, let me step into the gym. Because a lot of people don't do certain things because they feel like everything has to be played out. And at the end of the day, it's not your plan, it's God's. So if you feel like that today, if you feel like today isn't a good day, let's say you wake up and you're like, today is not a good day. Today I have so much to do. It's Monday. By the way, today is Sunday. Or you start telling yourself, even on a Sunday, tomorrow I have to wake up at this time. I have so many things that I have to accomplish. It's going to be such a busy day. You know what's going to happen? You're going to start to act out that feeling. You're already going to have a not so great day on Monday, but because you already started acting that out in your head today. So based on that, you will justify it because your actions are literally going to be a reflection of what you set out for yourself that day, right? So if you're just kind of telling yourself, I'm going to try to be better. Imagine if you just told yourself, I'm going to have a great day. It may not turn out to be a great day, but you didn't allow what was happening outside of you to change how you felt you needed to be to then allow yourself to start acting that feeling out. For example, let's say you wake up in the morning, you're like, man, I'm going to have a great day today. And you get a flat tire. I honestly believe that by you telling yourself you're going to have a great day, you start taking that situation of you getting a flat tire and you turn it around and you're like, well, maybe it's divine intervention. Maybe I was meant to have a flat tire instead of like, I have a flat tire, I'm late to work, this. And now you start to just have these assumptions over your day, and then you start to act like it. Then you're like, you know what? I was going to eat very healthy today, but because I got a flat tire, I'm just going to go ahead and stop at a fast food joint because I'm already going to be late. So you start to justify it with your actions. Your actions are what are a reflection of your life. That's exactly what's going to happen. So based on that, you start to justify it and you start to act like that. It's like how they say, treat a man how you could see him versus the person that he is right now. At the end of the day, the core settings of every single person around you and yourself will come out during times of struggle, will come out during times like crisis doesn't determine a person. Crisis really just reveals him. It reveals who you are. And that's talking to myself. There's just been times that I'm just like, really, is this really happening to me right now? Why is this happening to me right now? And I'm like, girl, you're putting your own self in a state of stress. And then you're wondering why, you're not receiving back what you want. It's because I'm putting out in my actions what is happening, and I'm just being reactionary to every single thing in my life. And most of us live our lives that way. We're reactionary. Somebody gives you a compliment, so then you react. Somebody criticizes you for the same exact thing that somebody gave you a compliment for, so now you're depressed. So you're literally letting your happiness be depicted if somebody is liking your comments, if somebody is complimenting you, if somebody is criticizing you. If the weight on the scale moves up, you're pissed off. If the weight on the scale moves down, you're happy. You're literally handing your power over to a machine, to something that should never have power over you. You're choosing. That's the action. You chose to let that have power over you. You're choosing to let your situation have power over you, right? People with vision for their life understand what's possible, even though they may feel scared to do it. They do it in spite of that. I've been scared to do many things. I was scared to even restart this podcast. And I was like, why are you scared? You're handing your power over to a feeling that is fake, that it's not real, that you're just going to do it. And when you do it, you're going to feel good and you know it's going to help someone out there, right? So if you are not willing to seek, if you're not willing to ask yourself, if you're not willing to say, I'm going to do it, the answer will always be no. The simple are those who are not willing to seek, keep going in their ways, and then they wonder why their lives haven't changed in the slightest, right? Again, what are you believing for in your life? What has the people around you been telling you? What lies have you been buying into? Have you decided to continue to show up for yourself today? And in what ways have you been doing that already? Because sometimes it's not that you haven't done it and you're thinking, oh, this is not working. No, you just have to do more of that. So again, you guys, ask yourself the question today, what limited beliefs have been living in my head rent free? I can't wait to see you guys on the next episode. I'm super excited to get restarted. Again, if you guys haven't started listening to this podcast from the beginning, I suggest you guys just catch up with the episodes and share this on your social medias. Tag me at Ottersbox, right? I know my weird last name, but it's unique and I love it. And when you share it just shows me, wow, somebody is actually listening. Somebody is actually reflecting on themselves. Somebody is actually applying this into their life today. And you never know, just because it helped you, or maybe it's not for you, by you sharing it, it's going to help that person next to you that needed it that most right then and there. So I will see you guys on the next episode. And remember, continue to just show up for yourself.